Hello and welcome to another episode of Anime Deep Dive, or as it's known in Japan.
Shosai.
So basically, this is a show where we try to do deep dives, or at least a relative uh, do justice to what we know, and not go into heavy spoilers. Thanks, Sean. But today's episode is from My Hero Academia, or in Japan, Boku no Hero. So now I'm going to be very honest at the start of the show. I don't know much of this. I've watched the first two episodes. That's it. But for my guests here, uh, hello to Jer, Casey. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm
And
good.
Lorraine will
Y'all
be
know
the most
me.
knowledgeable out of all of us here. So,
Giggity.
mm, but I'm I'm instantly regretting this. So I'm gonna hand the reins over to Lorraine. Yes,
Hello.
yes.
Hi. So basically, we decided to do a more modern one for the deep dive today. My Hero Academia being very popular at the moment. The manga is still going and the anime is still going too. You'll notice if you go to conventions, everyone is cosplaying from it or knows of it or is talking about it. And even the people who have never seen it will know the characters. Deku! Oh my god, it's Deku! Even though they've never watched the show. Deku is the main character of the show. It revolves around him as a nobody, someone who grew up without powers in a world that is filled with superpowers, and all he wants is to be a hero. But without any powers, he can't be, and he has the proper soul of a hero. And he gets this chance, this one chance that's given to him to become this hero, and he takes it and he runs with it, and the show is literally about his struggles of mastering this newfound power that he gets. And, the rest of it is fangirling, pairing him up with all the boys in the academy history.
Very
So,
true.
where do we want to go with that? I mean, we can talk about fan fiction now if you like.
No, I think it's too quick to
No,
it's too quick to dive into fucking fan fiction. But yeah, like obviously it's a very popular anime and it's a popular manga as well. The As you said, Deku is he's in a world where 80% of the world have superpowers, and he happens to be in the other 20% that doesn't. Now he's idolized the hero, which is called All Might, if
hmm
yep.
yes, who happens to be voiced by like the the many man of anime, Chris Sabat. People at home probably know him as Vegeta, Piccolo, uh, Picking Anime,
Anyone with muscles.
Alex Armstrong from Full Metal. Yeah, just Picking Anime. He's voiced people in it in nearly
Yeah.
everything. But
If it has testosterone in ample amounts, he voices it.
but obviously, oh right, as an outsider, basically looking in, what is it that it would be considered the main selling point for it for people to jump into it?
It's not a typical hero anime. You watch a lot of anime where you have kids that are coming from the ground up, that, like Naruto, for instance, as we were talking about, he was bullied, he was having to struggle his way up, but he had so much against him that every step of the way was difficult. In this one, it's not the same. For Deku, he has everything handed to him. He is given his power. He's given a great mentor to train him, and you see him training. You see the struggles he physically has to go to just to be able to utilize the powers that he's given. He goes to a school where he is tested, but then he's trained. He's given everything he wants, but the struggles that he goes through are all external, and they're all out of his control. There's nothing he could do to avoid them, but he becomes so embroiled in them because they're related to the power that he got. So it's starts off fun loving, becomes really complex, and it's very relatable because issues that uh, Midoriya, Izuku Midoriya is his full name. Issues he goes through, his anxiety, his OCD tendencies, his being bullied in school, they're all things that lots of people can relate to. And then being given this chance, it's not just all like, hey, kid, here's €1 million. Go do what you want with it. It's like, hey, kid, I have €1 million for you, but you have to do a heck of a lot of hard work to earn it. It's not that he's just handed this, he has to earn it. And if he doesn't prove himself, he can't have it. And every day he is pushing himself. He doesn't feel he's good enough. So he's always pushing himself to be better, to work better, to master everything that he's been given because he feels like it is a genuine privilege for him to have received this power, this privilege. And it's lovely to have a character that's so sincere and so grateful for the chances he's been given, but not be big headed about it because he could be extremely big headed about the fact that he is the chosen one, but he's not. Every day he's like, well, I'm not really anything special, even though he is. It's so wonderful to see that and to be able to really connect with the emotions. The other side of it as well is he's not the only interesting character in the show. You notice it with a lot of shows. You have, like, again, we'll go back to Naruto because we've already covered Naruto. With Naruto, you had Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi, and then the other characters just like, yeah, they're there. We get a few things with them, but they're there. But with this one, you have your character Deku, but then you have other characters like Todoroki, who is just as impressive, just as complex, has so many issues, so many things you can relate to. He has social disorders. He doesn't know how to relate to people. He doesn't know how to socialize or hold conversations with people. And it's great to see him struggling to work through those things. Then you have Mina. Mina is wonderful. She's this pink girl with alien antenna and completely black eyes, and as much as she should be an outcast and she should be weird, her exuberant personality makes up for it and just makes you love her. Sue-chan Froppy, she's so, I know, right? She's so weird looking, and the first time you see her, you're like, oh Jesus, that's kind of a dodgy design right there. Big boob girl with a very long tongue. Are you trying to, yeah, right? But then when you actually get to know her, she's such a sweet, innocent being. And there's this scene where she's worried that everyone hates her. And you're like, I want to protect her for the rest of my life. And it's the same with Kirishima. It's the same with Bakugo. There's moments with even Bakugo, who's the ass of a character. He is like a awful character. He was a bully. He was an antagonist. He's been awful the entire way through. But because he is picked on by the other students for being an ass, and because he's put in his place, you start to see his insecurities, his weaknesses. Yeah, it's brilliant for them letting all the characters develop, not just
the
main character. Yeah. And everyone gets their day in the sun. Even characters like Ojiro, which is a very background character, Tail Boy, he still gets his day in the sun, and it hasn't come yet, but it will in the manga. He gets his own little arc, and he gets his own little, spotlight. It's the same with Jiro. It's the same with Momo. They all get their spotlight, and even the villains. Here's Dabby. Woo woo. right? Even the villains have a great backstory. Some of them, like Dabby, are shrouded in mystery, but they're made interesting enough that you're like, I want to know more about them. They're not just throwaway characters to be defeated and never talked about again. They're characters that you're like, oh my God, that's actually insane. There's a character in it, Maggie, who in the most recent season actually gets killed off. But I can say in the manga, they've been mentioned 3 or 4 times afterwards by the villains, because the villains aren't just a ragtag bunch of people that are together because it's convenient. They're an actual team as well who care about each other. So you get these complex emotions of, oh man, but the heroes are defeating them and killing them. So they're losing friends too. Who's actually in the right here?
It's
It
shown
gets,
their
yeah,
their struggles with it as well, rather than just,
exactly.
oh yeah, bad guy shows up, we beat them, yay, happy days.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly it. And the main bad guy in it would be Shigaraki Tomura. He is known as Hand Guy. Oh, he has a hand on his face, Hand Guy.
Yeah, the hand
He,
everywhere.
right, yeah, Hand
Yeah.
Guy choking him. He's into some stuff, but we're not going to get into that here.
Fan
But
fiction.
I mean,
That's later.
we'll talk about
You
that
can delve
later.
into that later.
Right? Some say he's pretty handy, but no. Yeah, no. The first time you meet Shigaraki, you think he's just a pensive, sullen kid who's a bit of a brat. That's all you think of. But as it progresses, you get his background, his story, who he actually is, who he's related to. I know,
I
mind
know.
blown. But then it hasn't been covered yet in the anime, but they tell you his backstory and how he got picked up by All for One.
Hmm.
Now, to explain that for people who don't know the series, there are 2 big prolific characters in this series that it revolves around. One for All, which is All Might. His power is basically a power that is nurtured and grown within people, and it's one power that is shared with all people. But there's the antithesis of this is All for One. Yeah, I can't speak English. Leave me alone. So
His
All
power
for
is basically
One,
to take.
yeah,
Yeah.
he can steal everyone's powers and use them himself. He is actually the one who gave the original All for One user his power, but they became rivals. They became arch enemies. And one All for One is effectively immortal. And he took Shigaraki under his wing and raised him, but he kind of messed him up entirely. And there's a reason for that, which I won't go into because it would be majorly spoilerific for people who haven't watched the show. But the relationships, the connections, it's like everything is interconnected and really well thought out, except for one thing: the imposter, the spy in the academy. I will defer this to you, Áine, because you should know about this.
I do.
Yeah, so go on. I'll let you have your moments.
Well, to be honest, I've only seen the 4th series and a bit of the second one, but I know what she's talking about, and it's just, oh, like the characters have such, as you said, such like broad stories, backstories. Not as you said, not only the main characters, the villains, the teachers, and the big thing for me about this anime is that even the heroes are not all good.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are assholes. You know what I mean? They're very,
Yeah.
very mean, and they have
Endeavor. What? Endeavor. Oh God, I have something caught in my Endeavor throat.
One of my favorite of the fourth series, Deku calling Endeavor out. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. But yeah, basically where we're going with this is Horikoshi has this great in-depth story with brilliant characters, and they're all intermingling, and they've got everything is connected. But in the fourth story arc, where everything is going to shit, he's all like, yes, there must be a spy in UA being the academy
The
where they're being
academy, yeah.
trained, right? So there has to be a spy in there leaking the information to the League of Villains. Otherwise, they wouldn't know where this information is coming from. We need to find the spy. 3 seasons later, what spy?
Yeah.
Literally, there has been no mention of it since then. And at a press conference, someone turned around to Kohei and was like, so when are we ever going to find out who this spy is? And Kohei was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Literally, it was one of those kind of like,
It was just brushed over. It was like even the best animes have mess ups sometimes.
yeah.
All right, like
So
this is the thing. And about this anime alone, the fighting in this anime alone. Now, a lot of animes, some of my favorite animes, have fighting, and that's the big part of them. But with this, everybody has such different abilities, and they're all like none of the fight scenes are the exact same. They're all different, and so and more often than not, it doesn't always end up with the hero being the winner.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like it's a lot of
And
the times
even if the
they're
hero
fighting above
is
their
the
weight.
winner, yeah, even if the hero is the winner, it's not without
It comes at a
cost.
cost.
Yeah,
Yes.
which
which
is
is a good thing, like, because it's too easy for an anime to just fall into the same trope of like, okay, good guy loses, like bad guy's made out to be the biggest thing ever. Good guy overcomes that. That bad guy is now like his friend.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it, like? This is it. I mean, we all have our own reasons why we love the anime so much, you know.
Yeah,
And for me, yeah, it would be the fighting, and it would be the fact that not only the main character has a story, they all have a reason they're there. They all have their own abilities. They all have like they're all going somewhere.
Yeah,
You know.
they all
Yeah.
have their own
Yeah.
individual goals and their reasons for doing things.
and even at that, using their innate abilities isn't without consequences, and they're still learning how to use their abilities. It's not like, oh, I've got a new ability, I know how to use it now. It's just there. Like, I just flicked open to a page that shows Deku the first time he uses his
Oh
ability,
God,
he
that
ends up entirely broken.
Yeah.
Entirely broken, because he's never used it before and it's way too much for him. And they're not shy about showing the
Broken
burden,
limbs and all.
how hard it is. Yeah, go on. Tell us about it.
Well, like what you said there, like it shows Deku, like even when he was broken after using Alpha One, he'll still, like he said, okay, this is just a hindrance I have to do to become a hero. It's like a rock on my path. Like I'm still, it's gonna keep happening. How how can I make it so that I can minimize the damage I do to myself, but
Yeah,
still be effective fighter? Like
yeah.
I think that was covered like very early on, but it's kind of a constant thing. Anytime you learn
Yeah.
something new with Alpha One.
And it has a really nice way of showing his autistic tendencies in how he looks at things completely differently from
yes.
others,
Yeah.
but comes up with brilliant solutions like the microwave solution. Oh, I'm like a taiyaki. And it literally is exactly what he needs to be thinking, and it works really
Yeah.
well for him. But Gran Torino, who's teaching him, is like looking at him like, "You're a weirdo. You're a
Well,
weirdo."
I think everyone looks at him like that though, but they're like, hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah, but it is a nice, and again, another thing that people can relate to. You know, anyone who's autistic out there will be reading that, looking at Deku's character going, he thinks like I do. He overanalyzes like I do. Anyone who has any kind of social awkwardness will be looking at Todoroki going, he sees everything in black and white like I do. Then you have Ochako, who's literally like, I'm going to look at the bright side of everyone, but don't mess with me. She's a
Yes,
great character as
he's a
well.
great character.
Yeah, you have Momo, who's a very privileged character, who's been thrown in with all these lesser privileged kids, but she's so down to earth and just wants to fit
She's not
in.
the bitch you'd
Yeah,
expect her to be coming from her.
exactly. Yeah, she's an
Yeah.
honor roll student, but she just wants to fit in. And she comes out with things that are very privileged that have the rest of the students like, oh my God. And she's like, what? This is just normal. I'll share it with you all. And everyone's like, we love you, Momo. Because she doesn't look down on people and she just thinks everyone should have the same things that she has. You know,
Yeah.
she's a great character.
Yet
It's
again,
a great,
it breaks the mold as well, because like
yeah,
And
it doesn't fall into the same tropes. And like you have the rich entitled girl who's the bitch at the start, but you find out that she has her insecurities, and that's why she's like
Yeah.
this.
Like, I
And
don't.
the other thing, they don't really do it as much in the anime as they do it in the manga, which is a bit of a shame. I'm just flicking through so I can get a good picture here. Is with the girls, they actually give them a lot of weight. They have a lot of meat on their bones. So they're not skinny little things that are walking around. They actually have a good bit of chunk on them. And it's
Good.
really nice. Even Momo herself, who is seen in the anime, she's seen as super skinny. I don't think the first book has a picture of Momo, but she has a bit of chub on her. She's pretty cool. You know, it's really nice to see female characters not being shown as rake thin.
And
You
this
know,
is it as well. A female characters with knowledge and body empowerment, and also not, as you said, stick thin. They have a personality as well.
yes, yeah,
And
exactly
they're
it.
not just there to show off so they'll get a boyfriend.
Yeah, right.
So,
The other side of it as well is again with Horikoshi, he thinks out everything. Every little thing has meaning in it. So, for instance, with the superhero costumes, so he'll take into account the power that the hero is displaying and what benefits or what additions would be needed on a costume to make the powers more efficient. So for Ochaku, for instance, one of her power is making things float, defying gravity. Basically, zero gravity is her power. So she can cause everything to float, but she can also make herself float by touching her fingers together like this.
yeah.
Now, when she does this, her equilibrium goes haywire and she gets nauseous, completely and utterly nauseous. So, one of the little things designed into her suit that's written in the design of her suit, you can find all the references for it, but you never actually see in the show, is she has a pressure point on her wrist built into her cuffs to stop her from getting nauseous. These are little details that have been written into the manga and are in the characters' costume designs, but we don't ever hear them talked about. They're never, anything isn't really being made a big deal out of them. It's the same with Bakugo's costume. His thing is he sweats and he can make his sweat explode. So his grenades store his sweat so he can make explosions without actually having to produce the sweat on demand. It allows him to make bigger explosions. Everyone's costumes have a lot of intricacies to them. They have a lot of details that are really, really well thought out. Get off the controller, Bellini, thank you. But yeah, this is the brilliant thing about the whole world of My Hero Academia is literally everyone is so unique and different, and everyone has their own backstory, and they're having to literally work around each other as well and learn how to utilize each other's skills as well as maximizing their own. And that's what makes it so interesting for Deku as a character. Midori Izuku is a fanboy. He's a complete and utter otaku.
Yeah.
And his thing was learning about heroes and their skills, what their power levels are, what moves they use, how they utilize those moves, and what they're good for. So he's come in with this giant advantage when it comes to teamwork, and he didn't even realize it because
He's unintentionally like the strategist out
Yeah.
of the group because
Yeah.
of his obsessive notes on each individual like hero or villain.
Mm-hmm.
yes, and that is the perfect word for it, Niall. Obsessive. He is so obsessed about taking notes and learning about superpowers because he's been doing it his entire life that he unconsciously does it even when he doesn't need to. So he doesn't need to be taking notes from his classmates because he's with them every day, but he has a notebook with them in it. He has taken the notes of them and he has recorded all of their powers and abilities. And whenever they get a new ability, he records that too, which has come in really handy for him because I've been talking a lot and I feel like I'm kind of taking this over, but I will defer again to one of you to explain the Stain arc and how he was able to use the other people's abilities to benefit that situation because he knew everyone's powers. So who would like to talk about the Stain arc? Anyone?
I think we'll let
No
Jared do
takers?
it.
Jared, go on. Do you want to talk about Stain
Ooh,
and how he coordinated Ida and Todoroki?
well, it's kind of weird. I'm trying to think about without spoiling it too much.
Just talk
Well,
about his ability to coordinate people
okay,
because he knows their power.
well, yeah, it was kind of oh,
The simple answer is like he can coordinate their because he knows their power.
yeah, simple.
Just
but
turn it back onto her. It's like there you go.
There you
it's
go.
not that. It's just he always thinking on the fly as well.
Yes.
Like there was a tournament arc where in season 2 where part of it was you have to team up with people
Yeah.
and Deku was in an unfavorable position at the time.
He was.
So he had to. So he can't. Right, no one's gonna come up with me. What can I do to? What's the best strategy I can? Who has the best powers that I can use that hasn't teamed up already? Because they only had like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to team up with people. So he kind of had to make this plan, see who has what, and then come up with a plan to put it together. And like it was an epic team battle as well.
Yeah.
But see, but the thing is with the Stain arc, I don't think Deku really coordinated it well because I think that was going on pure emotion at the time.
I would disagree with you there. I would
Yeah.
disagree with you. With the Stain arc, because of Stain's unique powers, he first of all figured out his power very, very quickly and how his power worked, which is his analytical brain. Once he realized that, he was able to say, okay, well, it lasts longer for some people than it does for other people. So I know I'm going to break free from it at this stage. I know Todoroki's going to break free from it at this stage. And I know Ida's going to be breaking free of it soon. So he literally, within a few minutes, came up with a strategy to have Todoroki set up an ice wall to corner Stain to move into a certain area where he could then jump at his new full cowling speed to be able to deliver a blow, knowing full well that Ida would then be free to back him up. He trusted Ida enough to back him up to deliver a powerful enough blow to knock Stain out. He coordinated 3 people within the space of a few minutes.
And he done it all because of their blood type.
Yeah, because he knew their blood type and because he knew what they were capable of in power. And Ida was actually especially impressive because he had a new move that Izuku had never even seen before. And he managed to integrate that into the strategy after being told it only lasts for 10 seconds. He was able to integrate into a strategy within a heartbeat. He is so good at analyzing, decompressing data and repackaging it as needs be.
Yeah.
And it's because of his obsessive nature of, recording all data from so many fights with heroes and villains. It's crazy.
Okay,
But it's
if like obviously like we kind of talked about the characters, but like, and it's a very like intricate, and everyone has their own like the reasons and rhymes for why they do what they do or why they need to be there. But obviously like the anime does involve a lot of fighting, and
Yeah.
I'm sure there's been a fair few fights that's happened along the way, especially in the anime or the manga. But what would be your favorite fight that has happened? This allows everyone a chance to actually
Like,
say something there.
pick a needle in a haystack in it.
Yeah. Áine, you go first. Go on.
Well, to be honest, I have a favorite arc. My favorite arc is the when you were talking about
The games.
season 2, the battle. I like, when they had to pick teams and then they ended up fighting each other. I mean, there's so many different fights I could pick. Well, I'd say for me personally, it would probably be Shinso and Deku because I love Shinso. He's so clever. Like, that's the thing. I was like,
It's interesting that you picked that one, considering there's not actual a lot of physical altercation. It's mostly mental.
yeah, but
Really
that's what
interesting
it is for me, is that he's so intelligent, and it's like he didn't even have to do much. And but
No.
now, I mean, of course, like Deku was great in that fight as well, because he's like, him being smart too was what got him through the fight. But at the same time, what I loved in the beginning of that, when they were picking the teams and people were like, I didn't know I was with you. And people are looking at you,
Yeah.
like, and everybody's trying to figure out how did this happen. Like,
Yeah, I kind of just woke up here. What the?
yeah.
What about yourself, Jer?
There's actually, can I pick 3?
Of course you can.
Yeah.
Because it's gotta be Deku and Uraka versus Kachan and Ida.
Yes.
Then you get then Deku versus Kachan in season the rematch.
Yeah.
That was kind of like Rocky 3 behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And then obviously, what's amazing about the series is to see the big fight in season 3. That you kind of think, well, that's going to be the end of it, but it keeps. You had series 4, which was out of the park as well. So even if you can have that big kind of end of the whole series fight, it's still going on and still strong as ever. So I think
Hmm.
that speaks testament to My Hero Academia more than anything.
Yeah.
Like,
What about
Yeah.
you, Lorraine? What about your fight?
Well, the overhaul fight would actually be one of my favorites, but actually my main favorite fight would be Fat Gum and Kirishima versus the
Yes.
Ultimate Field.
Yeah.
It's so it's so powerful. It's so wrenching because you can literally see the grit and the struggle of it's two immovable objects meeting, you know, and it's wonderful. It's so good. There's so much interaction in that fight as well as talking. That's the good thing about it. It's not just, I'm going to punch you and that's going to be it. It's like, no, why are you doing this? Why can't we just talk it out? Why do we have to fight this way? You're getting into the psychology of it, but then you're also getting Kirishima's backstory in it, which shows him as being really weak in the beginning. His power was nothing at all to now this incredible hero. He worked so hard to build up this crap power and turn it into something that can take on one of the strongest people in the um what was it called, the Liberation
Yakuza?
Front. Yeah, the
Mm.
Liberation Front. Yeah. So yeah, like I mean, that would probably be my favorite fight. Would be
I,
Fat Gum
I
Kirishima
actually
with
have
the
another one I just thought of.
go on.
Do you remember the one where the villains attack the students while they're in training, and Aizawa and 13
Yeah.
is it are there to protect them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I
that's a brilliant fight
I
as well.
love Aizawa. My god, he's great.
He is. He's a great character. He really
and
is a very good character.
and then the students having to come up with ways to fight them quickly because they're like, yeah, these are full on villains. Like these are not here to play. You know, they're not here to mess around.
Yeah.
So it's them having to come up with ways to fight them and actually defending themselves pretty well. While Aizawa and then all the other teachers come then to help them.
I think what we should really focus on with Aizawa though is the very, very first time you meet him, he literally looks like that.
I know. I love him. I love him so much.
Isn't it? They
is-
thought he was a dead body, didn't they?
Yeah.
And
He's
then what I love,
badass character who what cocoons himself in a sleeping bag the
Yeah.
majority of the class. He's so
And
good.
what I love as well with that is like them trying to make sure that Áine gets out so he can go and warn the teachers. Because
Yes.
he's the fastest, you know.
Yeah.
I love Áine. I love Áine. He's one of my favorites. So
He is a good
one
boy.
of my many from this series.
So,
Again, it's going back to the dynamic of the characters. They all have such great personality.
Yeah.
Great personalities that you can't just pick one, and you don't really stick with the main character. Everyone loves Deku. He is a cinnamon roll, but there are
He's not
so
my
many
favorite.
characters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
there are
in-
so
in
many
saying that, though,
characters to choose from.
like,
Any one of them
in
could
sa-
be the MC and it'd be grand. Like any one of them could, any episode could step up being MC and
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good though. Like that really shows like how strong the writing is for the
and
characters.
this is it, as we said, like they give them the opportunity as well, like because there's so many animes that don't give the other characters the opportunity to step up to the plate.
Yeah.
But they do.
Like even the big
They really
hitters
do.
are guilty of that trope, like not
Mhm.
letting the like Dragon Ball. Sorry. Yeah.
Bleach, Naruto.
But yeah, like obviously, like because the writing's so strong. Well, who would be actually like your favorite characters? Now, like obviously there's that many, but like who would be your go-to?
Me first.
Whoever wants to go first.
That one's a really difficult one. It's
Because they're all
really
so strong?
difficult. Yes, but I like different characters for different reasons.
Mm.
So, I mean, Todoroki is one of my favorites, but I'd have to say, probably against popular opinion, my big time favorite character is actually Yagi, or Small Might, as I affectionately call him. The deflated version of All Might, Toshinori Yagi, is probably my favorite character.
Yeah.
Because he's drastically different to his All Might persona.
Yes, and he is sweet and compassionate and so sensitive. That's the thing that gets me, is he's so sensitive and just wants to be useful. He knows he's not strong and powerful anymore, but he still wants to help in any way he can. Despite the fact that he's lost his abilities, he still wants to be a hero. And okay, there's a character that is very similar to him in that trope, and his name is Tiger from Tiger and Bunny. There he is up there, Bean.
Right there.
And again, it's one of those characters that he's fading in his strength, but he still wants to be the good guy, and he still wants to be the hero, and he does everything he can to support other heroes. He doesn't get bitter. He doesn't get jealous because of his abilities lost. He's just a supportive character, and that really calls out to me as a strong character. So that's why he'd be my favorite.
What about yourself, Jer?
Oh man, it's almost like asking me who my favorite Ninja Turtle is.
They're all my favorite.
uh,
That one.
favorite, I say my second favorite would be Mineta, but first favorite has to be Kirishima. Because
Really?
Kirishima, yeah, for the simple reason I remember looking at I remember reading the manga, and he was working hard on his ability, which is it's a basic one, but he has to put effort into it.
Yeah.
And when he kind of took it to the next level, and like I remember turning the page and seeing, I was like, "Whoa! I cannot effing wait to see that in the anime."
Exactly. That's why it's my favorite fight.
Yeah.
Like for me, like I'm not familiar with names, but Kirishima is the one. He's like
The redhead.
Stone, is it? Yeah.
Yes. Shitty
Stone?
hair, as Bakugo likes to call him.
Yeah.
What's his power? Is it stone? Is it?
Yeah, it's like kind of hard.
Yeah, he can
He's like
turn his
Metapod,
body
but cooler.
into stone.
Is he like Gaara from Naruto? With
That's what he looks like, right there.
That guy.
Yeah.
I just come along with props to keep y'all entertained, like.
Yeah. And advertising. That's what.
Well, yeah, there he is in his hero form.
Yes.
Oh,
Any
sweet.
lovely Red Riot. Yes, I do sell these merchandise. If you want to get some, check me out on Crafty Like a Fox.
There you go. There's your plug. May as well. But
Might as well.
yeah, like no, fucking. I'm not complete. Like I'm not up on the names. I find it hard to keep track because there is so many characters. But
Oh yeah.
But it is nice to hear like why people like the people that they like in it. Like even some people do like the villains, and you're like, why? Like then you realize why.
It's so interesting. So interesting.
Sometimes they're more interesting than the hero.
Yeah.
But with the beauty of this My Hero is that everyone is so well thought of that makes it very difficult to not like pick a hero or what would normally be a minor character in another anime.
Yeah, my favorite is Aizawa. He's my favorite character. Other than him, it'd be Ida or somebody like that. But Aizawa, I like him because as we said, he goes from being this weirdo cocooning in
Yeah.
a sleeping bag
Like
to all of a
literally
sudden
from a
being a
sleeping
hard
bag
ass.
into being this guy
Yeah,
right here.
exactly. And it's like not even just that, not even just the power. It's to being a hard ass on the students. You know, he'd be
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm just chilling, I'm having a sleep here. Oh, would you like actually think about what you're doing for a second? You know,
Mhm.
he's a teacher 1 second, a
Complete
sloth the next second, and then a powerful badass 2 minutes later. So
And the great thing about him is he teaches during the day. He helps the police with their investigations, but he also is a hero at nighttime.
yeah,
So he patrols at nighttime. So he's constantly working. And that's why he's in a sleeping bag. And you figure that out and you're like, oh geez, somebody get that boy a coffee.
like this is it. And as well as that, one other thing about the heroes and the villains, for that matter, in this series, is that more often than not, their powers are not unlimited.
Ida's very disappointed in you, Áine.
Yeah, well, look, he can sit down for a minute.
Stop pacing around all the time.
God dang it, Ida.
And this is the thing, is like even Eraserhead has his limits.
Yeah.
You know, he has a limit to what he can use, and he's trying to teach the students that you all have a limit.
Yeah.
You can't constantly use your power, so you're gonna have to realize what you can and can't do, and how far you can push your body before you break yourself.
Yeah. It literally is a case of there are consequences that you can't come back from.
Mm-hmm.
Which is an issue that I've had with a lot of power anime, like My Hero Academia. It is what would be called a power anime, where you power up, you get stronger, you defeat the enemy, you power up again. Like it is one of those type of shows, but the big difference here is the characters get scarred. The characters get wounded and it stays with them.
Because this
You know,
is it as well. In a lot of them as well, they will have unlimited power, but your body can't handle it.
Yeah.
You know,
like with Dragon Ball
all
Z,
that energy has to go somewhere.
With Dragon Ball, you have the cop out of, well, everybody died, but we'll just wish them back to life. Yay!
Okay.
And then in Bleach, you put a couple of bandages on, and after a good night's sleep,
you're all well good again.
And plenty of juice.
You know, Naruto is exactly the same. Like, how many times has Naruto been slashed, been cut, been broken, but not a scar on his body?
Been burnt up, like just everything you can.
And then he gets the training he needs, and sometimes he gets back in time to fight the enemy, or somebody else is stronger and comes in and does it.
Yeah.
So somehow Naruto ends up being stronger than them at the end of the anime.
Yeah. Whereas with My Hero Academia, it's a case of, well, you're not strong enough, so you're going to get your ass handed to you.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about that. If you get dead, you're dead.
You're dead. That's it. You ain't coming back.
There's no trope.
If you get dead, you're dead.
There's no Dragon Balls in this anyway.
No fucking Naruto on it as well. They pull that shit with Pain and other people. Pain and
Yes.
So obviously we have talked a lot of good things about it, but I suppose it wouldn't be fair if we didn't actually talk about what is bad about My Hero. I mean, it's a super popular anime / manga, but I mean, no anime manga is without their own faults.
Hang on. This isn't easy for me because
you have to think about it.
It is actually that good.
You have to think about it.
Yeah. I mean, the only complaint I had was the missing spy, but that just turned into a joke.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's
Um,
an oversight. Basically, he just
well, yeah, I think he
he's a
got
lot
so
of characters to
embroiled in the
deal with.
storyline.
And
So
and another thing you don't even have to complain about, and Lorraine will be happy with this as well, is that the women, some of them are quite sexy, but they know they're
Mhm.
sexy, so that's
Yeah.
okay.
They
It's not
use
like
it.
they're exploiting the women like some animes do.
And yeah, like even Momo has a exceptionally revealing outfit, but she needs it to be because her whole power involves pulling things from her skin. So
on
she
her
needs to
chest
have her
mainly.
skin
She needs
exposed.
to have her skin on show so she can use her power.
Yeah, so that's why her outfit is so revealing.
And you know,
What's the other one? The one that can grow really big. The
Mountain Lady.
Mountain
Mountain Lady
like in
with
the
the
bodysuit that she
amazing
wears.
ass. We
Yeah.
need to get her ass on show here, actually. Mountain Lady has a fantastic ass.
And
it's
there's
featured.
Midnight. What's her name? Midnight, Miss
Yeah,
Midnight.
Midnight is the teacher. Look at that ass. That ass is amazing.
That ass.
Mhm. But the whole thing is it's made a joke of as well because she uses that to her benefit. Mountain Lady knows she's sexy, knows that she wants people to sit on their face. People want her to sit on their faces. So no, seriously, when she grows
does.
big, people are like, she's going to fall down on us. Ah. They're waiting for it. Like, literally, it's the funniest thing. They make
And
it a part of her character.
this is the thing as well, is that in the anime, they make it known that they know what's happening.
Yeah,
They're in on the joke because
exactly.
one of the things they do is Midnight is like up announcing something on the stage, and Bakugo, Bakugo is like, does she think any of us are going to take her seriously while she's while she looks like that?
Right?
Whipping hand and everything.
Literally. But the great thing about Midnight is, as a character, she's one that nearly every female character that's reading this is like, oh shit, I'm Midnight. Because she's a fangirl. She's a fangirl.
Like, oh,
oh, young love. Like Midnight, yes. Oh my god. Yes. She ships the students together. It's just beautiful.
No, she literally ships the students together.
Yeah.
And she's walking around like this dominatrix in the school because she's literally wearing lingerie and walking around with a whip.
Think of a black-haired Grell with, like, bondage suit on. That's Midnight.
That's Midnight.
Oh God, no.
And she knows what she looks like and what she looks like,
Oh,
and she's well aware of it.
yes. But this is the best thing about her, though, as much as her whole power is seduction, she can use her pheromones to seduce people into a sleep. And it's just, it's really,
That's
really
why her
cool.
name is Midnight. She makes them go sleep.
Yeah. So
isn't it a case of like if she doesn't want you to see her, like you won't see her?
No, that's not it at all.
No.
Midnight's power is she releases pheromones from her skin that any man in the vicinity that gets a whiff of it will basically be intoxicated by her and be lulled into a sleep. So that they can't resist them. They literally just can't resist her.
I think there are a few that can. I can't remember why.
Anyone without a sense of smell would be able to resist her. Women obviously do not get affected by her pheromones unless they're big raging lesbians. That kind of thing. Well, Niall, it's true. And but the great thing is even though, okay, so one of the characters, Dragon Lady, whose name I can't remember right now, sorry about just, she is this really super awesome, badass character who can kick your ass as much as she wants to, but she makes most of her money through advertising. So when the interns come underneath her, they're expecting to go on patrol and fight bad guys, but most of their internship is spent in a studio doing adverts going.
Yeah.
So it is literally showing that even in the superhero industry, looks count. It's not all about power. If you want popularity, you need to look good too. And it shows that the women are not afraid to use their looks. They're sexy and they know it. And that's it. We're back onto good things here. We're supposed to be talking about bad things, but
The only bad thing I can think of is one of the characters that I don't like. The only
Minata.
thing I can think of. What was it? What's his name?
Minata, great head.
Minata. I fucking hate him.
I know, and
Okay.
we've just established that Jer likes him.
My
It's
God.
the second favorite. Why do you like him, Jer? Have we lost Jer?
Well, hold on. Remember what you said earlier about every character getting their moment in the sun?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Mineta's one?
No.
Okay. Well, I think it was during the tail end of season 2. It was him and Sarah versus Midnight because of the way it worked out.
Oh,
And they
training.
gave him his backstory.
Yeah.
And like, granted, after it though, they didn't do much more development on that. They just kind of reverted him back. Okay, go back in the corner, be a pervert. That's you.
Okay, but his backstory is literally, I want girls to like me.
Yeah.
Don't we all?
That's why I said he was my number 2.
My problem with him is like almost right. Unfortunately, almost every anime or a lot of animes have a pervert in them.
Yes.
They do.
And My Hero
He is-
Academia happens to have 3 of them.
Oh my god! Like he is so blatantly perverted. It's creepy. You know what I mean? It's like how could you even think about being near him
I would
as a
imagine.
woman?
I would imagine he basically serves as the avatar for what is bad about anime, like in regards to that character.
Well, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Yeah.
All right. He does use his power.
No, it's more what's bad about male chauvinism, I think it is, more to the point. Like his whole thing is if I get powerful, women will be falling over themselves to get to me, rather than if I become a better person, women will like me.
It's just like remember when he does it, he looks through the hole
Oh, poor Jiro.
into the women's dressing room.
Yeah.
He creates like a hole in the wall.
He finds the
he
peephole.
finds it. Yeah, and he's like finding a peephole to look at the women. And what's her name?
Jiro
The electric
with
girl.
with the socket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She electrocutes people with. She has like Marty. They're like
No, she uses her ear jacks. That's her hero
They're
name,
like
is
an
ear jack,
earphone.
to amplify the sounds.
Yeah.
But she can manipulate her earlobes as much as she wants. So she was able to poke him in the eye.
And he was like, oh,
Ow.
which is what he deserves.
But
Definitely.
this is actually a really good example of it, because at that stage there are 3 perverts in the class. That would be Denki. Oh, we love you, Denki. Zero, who is as much of a pervert as Minata, and Nata. They are the 3 perverts, but Denki and Zero know where the line is. They know where it becomes perversion to complete disrespect. So while they do lust over all the girl characters and they are drooling over everyone wanting to get with the girls, they wouldn't go so far as peeping on girls while they're getting undressed. They wouldn't say derogatory comments about them. They wouldn't plan and plot in the midnight fight. They wouldn't make a plot to try and get her naked like Minata did. So the whole thing about uh, him as a character, it's not even about him being a pervert, it's about him being disrespectful, because there are two other perverts in the class, but they're respectful of the girls even though they are perverted.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like him as a character. But in a way, I'm actually glad he is there as a character, because it shows that even though he is training to be a hero,
He's
he's
still
still an
flawed.
awful person.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kota said,
Which?
Kota in season 3.
Coda.
Mia tried to spy on the girls and Kota stopped him.
Yeah,
And he ended up like kind of chucking him off a very high wall. He
yeah,
says, before you try being a hero, try being a good person first.
yeah,
Oh yeah, the kid. Yeah.
Kota, yeah.
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 The one that like kicks Deku in the.
Yeah, yeah. And you know something, like even at that, Zero has become kind of like Minata's little watchdog now, because or guard dog or something. I don't know what way to explain it, but he's the one who usually has to bind Minata up in tape to stop him from doing anything perverted at night when the girls are sleeping. You know, it's bad when your classmate has
Who
to
is
literally bind
perverted?
you.
Like,
Yeah, who is perverted has to bind you up.
so you won't do something to the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know it's
So,
bad.
And as well as
but-
that, like the girls are so powerful as well. They could kill him.
yeah, they could beat the shit out of him if they wanted to, which I love. I just actually love the fact that the only one that ever became very flushy embarrassed by him and didn't say anything was Froppy.
Yeah, I know. I love her. Oh, she's so
For a frog, you have big boobs, and she just blushed.
Didn't she try to drown him at the USJ though?
Yeah,
No, she
yeah.
saved
I
him.
think she did.
Yeah, cause he groped her at when they were in the
Oh
water.
yeah, when
and
he
just
groped,
Yeah,
he gropes
she
her,
just-
she tries to drown him, but she does blush when he comments on her boobs.
Yeah, because she. Oh, like I love Sue, but her whole thing is that she believes almost that people are gonna like look at her, what she looks like instead of
Yeah.
oh yeah, she's gorgeous, she's so pretty, you know, and she's a brilliant character. She has a great body, and there are so many fan fictions about her. It's not okay.
I mean, like when you have a tongue that's that dexterous,
Yeah,
you know
I
it's
mean
gonna
it's
happen.
they can do what a frog does.
I
What?
mean, she could run the whole hentai porn industry with that tongue.
she could, she could, and she's got a great ass and
Uh-huh.
big boobs to go with it. So
I mean, yeah, she's got them jiggle physics, and she's got the tentacle monsters begging for lessons.
I notice how me and Gerry are just staying quiet because this is one that I was like, we cannot like get involved in this one.
Oh, this is why you have me on. Let's be honest.
Who
I
is
talk
great,
about
though.
the things that all
Someone
the
has to
guys
talk
want
about
to
it.
talk about.
someone has to be here to talk to me, talk with me about it. Okay.
Right, right. Like seriously, it's okay when girls are talking about perverted stuff, but when guys do it, it's like
No.
Yeah, apparently it's not alright. Like, even when that's the conversation.
But yeah, but another. I know it's one cute little relationship that I really hope would work out is what's her name? Ochaku and Bakugo.
oh yes, oh my goodness, I love a Chaco and Bakugo as a pairing.
Like,
Oh my goodness. I still love the fact that we haven't discussed any bad points like Niall wants us to, but
I
there
know.
you go.
Well, look,
There just
you,
doesn't appear to be any bad points.
you've
Sorry
obviously
about
like
you.
transitioned already. Like,
I
so-
mean, honestly, when I'm genuinely thinking about it, I think I've frozen. Have I frozen?
yes,
Yes,
Still
you
there.
have. Oh, there
Okay.
you go.
There I go. So when I actually genuinely think about it, for bad points, my dog is invading me at the moment. Okay, give him a second. He'll get there. Good job.
Hey,
Good job.
Hi, Judy.
No. I'm working. Good boy. Yes, I know. I'm working.
Oh yeah,
So
this is just for the editor, John. Yeah, like Houdini's not like Tina. Like just letting you know that.
yeah.
moderation feature in these
She's
videos. If
not
you don't leave
barking.
him in, like it's just a crying shame. Look at that face.
Hi,
Sorry,
Houdini.
that was a side note. So, well, yes, hello Houdini, and
Ah.
continue, Lorraine.
So yeah, basically, if I do have to genuinely pick out some bad things, it would be that Shigaraki Tomura seems really bad as a choice of a main villain. Like, he seems like a weak main villain all the way through. Even now in the manga, he's like the big bad, but he's not powerful. He's
Yeah.
got a group that are more powerful than he is. Dabi is extremely powerful. Twice is at the start not very powerful, but his actual ability when it kicks off is amazing. It's so amazing. You know, all of the characters around him have a lot more ability than he does. He's a tepid little child throughout it. He's got a great story with him, but as a leader of the group, it doesn't work. He just doesn't work. He doesn't feel like he's a strong enough presence. And you really get that feeling shoved in your face during the Overhaul arc, because Overhaul is a great villain.
Yeah.
He is such an embodiment of what a villain should be. His motives are wrong. His ideals are wrong. His methods are just wrong. He is so evil and so selfish because his whole view and his whole reasons for doing it is because he finds the world to be disgusting and imperfect. And when you look at Shigaraki's reason for what he's doing, it's because I want to, you know, and it just doesn't. Shigaraki doesn't sit well with me as the main villain to be facing off as the big bad. I just feel he could have done with being a bit more oomph.
Especially when
got
you
enough.
compare him to, like, All for One.
Yeah,
Like, because
Yeah.
he's made out to be like the baddest of the bad, and even like with All Might, like, has a
Yeah.
hard time with him.
yeah,
And this is it as well. I get what you're saying, because if he requires help from a team to fight students.
Then how weak are you really? Basically, you're making
Yeah, I'm
yourself
not
look
saying
weak.
that the students are weak. They're not weak, but they haven't gotten the full abilities like the older generation of heroes.
Yeah.
He, he requires what are they called? The monsters kind of they were using.
Nomus.
Nomus.
Yeah.
I mean, now Nomus are alone are terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
But he requires them. He requires a team to give him backup so he can fight these people. I'm not shitting on him. Like,
Yeah.
he's great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
He has a good, interesting story.
yeah,
I just feel as an actual villain, they should
shouldn't
have
be the
given
main
him
one.
more oomph. Like,
Yeah.
even his power is badass. His power of decay, if he
Yeah.
touches anything with his whole hand, it decays. It's a really badass power, and they could have done a lot more with it than they did originally. Now, in the manga, they have expanded, no spoilers. He does get a serious upgrade, but again, it took that long and it took a lot of other people helping him for him to get to that point.
Yeah.
And it just feels to me like he was always a background player that was just kind of pushed into the front because he was interesting.
To
He
me,
just
like listen to it. It basically comes across as like Frieza from Dragon Ball, whereas
Yeah.
like he's someone who is has enormous power, but because of his attitude or his motives, or lack thereof, he's not motivated to actually be better in that sense, like in terms of growing his power and being more sinister. So therefore, he's just
He never.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it took an awful lot for him to develop it.
yeah.
It took an
Mhm.
awful lot. It took him getting beaten,
Mm-hmm.
like beaten upon beaten, like that, to get
Yeah.
him to actually develop his power. And even when he did, he still couldn't beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But like in saying that he is a good character, he does get a lot of character development. But if one of the other characters, if Dabi, for instance, or Toga had have gotten the treatment that he had been given, they would have been a much more prolific villain than he is. And that would be my only complaint in it. And it's a mild complaint because I still love Shigaraki and he's still an awesome character.
exactly.
Jared, what about you? Do you have any views, anything you complain on?
I kind of have to agree with you on that. Like, just Shigaraki as a villain, when you have Stain, and when you have All for One,
Mm-hmm.
and like, you just kind of measuring up. It's like Thanos without the Infinity Stones. Like, he needs that power to be that bad.
Yeah.
Like, take away the Infinity Stones. Granted, he's still a force, but he still can be beaten.
Mm.
But trying to criticize my hero, I would say, yeah, I would say Mignetta. I know he's one of my favorite, he's my second favorite character, but he has crossed the line a few times, especially when when they were doing the room checking thing when they moved into the dorms. Like, I feel he does things
Yes.
that go too far. So, and like, if you were trying to sell this sell this as an anime or manga for someone to get into, you know, someone might see Minya and say Minya could potentially turn someone off the anime,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be, I think that would be a shame because
It's
everything else about it is good.
Yeah.
yeah, it's such a good
Especially,
anime and diverse that you're like, I don't want you to be turned off by this character, but I can understand why you would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
Fair enough.
well, can we talk about one of the main focuses of the show that everyone seems to overlook and is the best boy that everyone needs to acknowledge? Ayami, sparkly glitter boy, belly button boy. He is the best.
No, he gave me a heart attack when I was reading the mangas, and no, it wasn't cool. He gave me a heart attack. I was like,
He's literally what I like to call the Deadpool character in My Hero Academia because he breaks the fourth wall all the fucking time. He
I was,
literally stares out at you all the time, and I
I was
love
actually gonna give
him.
that a choice, but now that you mention it, Oyayama would be a better Deadpool.
Yeah, right. He's so good, and he just wants to be friends with people, but he doesn't know how to be. So he gives you cheese. He
I,
Oh,
gives
like,
you
I'm not
cheese.
like, I remember reading that in the manga, and that was like the last page of it, and I'm thinking, oh no, he's I I was literally, it's
He's the best boy.
one
I
of
love him.
one
I
of
love
my
him so much.
one of
And
my favorite characters I forgot to mention. What's his name again? Sukiyami? The board guy.
what guy?
Sakamoto? No.
No, hang on.
you said the board guy, but that doesn't.
The hawk guy that like
Not Hawks.
Oh,
board head.
Not Hawks.
Tokoyami. Yes,
Tokiyami.
yes, Tokoyami is the best
Love
bird.
Tokiyami.
Well, he is now. He's got competition from hawks, but they work
Yeah.
together, so they are the best birds. They're like all birds are the best birds.
Caroline's favorite, hawks. She's like,
I'm really looking forward to the next season of the anime because we get to see hawks in a very interesting light. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, he's gonna
I
be.
think he's our
pretty
second, or he's our first, and Bakugo's our second.
Blasty boy, you need to calm the frick down. Get yourself a Xanax.
So obviously, like, there's from what I gather, there's very minimal that you could actually complain about. But
Very minimal.
as we transition in, I may as well like transition into something that you and Áine are gonna like more, is your fan fiction. And
I didn't think we were going to touch on that. That's kind of an over 18s rating.
well,
Well,
we do
no,
portions.
no. Like,
It
I
depends
mean,
on which one you're going for.
it
As I
really
said, we
does.
can allude to things. We don't have to go full on over 18s.
Well, like if we're just talking about as fan fiction in general, like the whole culture of fan fiction is people being so excited about a show that they feel the need to write about the characters in
Yes.
scenarios that they would like to see. But the show has to have a good dynamic story to inspire that. Now, you'll find if you go onto sites like fanfiction.net, there are some shows that will have a lot more fan fiction than others because there's a lot more material to work with. Naruto was one, Bleach was another, Avatar The Last Airbender just kind of like shot through the roof when it came out. Voltron did the same. My Hero Academia has so many fan fictions, but it also has so many sub characters, subcategories, I should say, because there's so many parents. Usually, when you're looking at fan fiction, it's the two main characters with another character or with an OC. With this one, you can literally have a popular one being Hakagure, Invisible Girl, and Ojiro. They're two background characters, but you can find loads of fan fictions about them because of the little sweet interactions about
Yeah,
them.
they're so cute.
Yeah. And that's the thing is mostly when you're looking at fan fictions, it's very, over 18s content.
Unfortunately, yes.
But with My Hero Academia, because there's so much background, because there's so many alternative universes that are even given to you by the creator himself, like the fantasy, the D&D universe was created by the show creator, the writer himself, Horikoshi, did this as an ending that became a whole universe and a fan fiction universe in and of itself. People have written so many complex stories. It's not just so these two characters meet and then they started humping and it was great. This is like proper, like they're going on a quest and there's
Sounds
a big
like a fan
story
fiction,
behind
right?
it. Yeah, right. But there's so many of them where there's a lot of thought put into them, and it's because the manga and the anime have given us so much to work with as writers.
Yeah.
It's not just a case of we have to make shit up ourselves. It's like, well, there's a huge lore there that I can just pluck from. Thanks. It's great. It's a brilliant tool for inspiration and getting people's creativity. It's the same with doing fan art. So much fan art of it because people just are so passionate about it. It's such a great show for getting your passion stirred.
And this is it as well. It's like not all fan fictions are as you said about that. They're some of them are literally about them getting into a relationship with each other or just becoming really close friends or something like that, or one of them helping the other one through a family situation. It happens, and this is it. Like as I said, one of my favorite pairings is Bakugo and Ochaku. And then my other favorite is Deku and Sue.
I like
love
our
them
parents
together.
green babies.
Oh, they're so cute. And then there's like ones like Momo with Kirishima. Some
That's
people
an
pair them.
interesting one, Mama and
I know,
Kirishima.
and I was like, oh, interesting, because most people are like, oh, who could we pair Todoroki with? We want to pair him with everyone.
I mean, I'm convinced he's a disaster gay. So
Yeah,
I'm just convinced he's a disaster gay. I think he's a disaster gay. I think Deku is a disaster bi.
yes,
To be honest, I think
agree.
he swings both ways. I think Bakugo is a disaster straight because everybody assumes he's gay, but he's really not.
Yeah,
And then when he's accused of, he's like, you know, he's a
Yeah.
disaster straight.
This
And
makes
he
me so
just
angry.
gives off- it makes him so angry, and he gives off gay vibes because of how he acts with Kirishima.
Hey, guy. How are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm giving you the eye.
Yeah, and there's a
Kills
lot of
you.
people. There's a lot of people that pair Kirishima with him.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
god.
it's purely because Kirishima is the only one he's soft around.
Yes.
So it makes sense.
It's so easy to see some of them as a couple. Like
Mhm.
it is so easy, and
I mean, like, I know so many people who are Tododeku fans, like myself.
yes,
But the whole reason is because there are hints to it in the manga from Todoroki's side. He's
Yeah.
obsessed with Izuku. He's obsessed with Midoriya. He literally, at one stage, Midoriya was out doing something or other. I can't remember what it was. He wasn't there at the dorms. And Todoroki was the one like, where is he? Why isn't
Why
he
isn't
here?
he
He
here?
should be here.
yeah, like,
You know, he is always like snooping around or checking in on Midoriya because he needs to know what he's doing. And when it comes to later on, there will be a scene where Todoroki invites his friends back to his house, and it is literally Midoriya and Bakugo.
oh my god.
You know, so it really says something in that context of
These are who he likes.
yeah, these are
Like,
the people he likes. And I think Bakugo kind of got thrown in there because Bakugo is like attached to Midoriya's hip at this stage.
yeah. 'Cause this is when they started like, oh, I respect you, and it's like I don't want to, but I do. Like,
Yeah, a proper rivalry, like.
It-
And also Bakugo knows the secret, so he's kind of trailing around after Midoriya to make sure he doesn't fuck up.
yeah,
like that kind of situation definitely lends itself to people making fan fictions for it.
yeah.
Like-
I can see it being a three-way thing. But
Yes.
then a fan fiction of them all being together.
Now, the funny thing about this is, though,
We'll just
Horikoshi,
play Lonely Island in the fucking
um,
background. There you go.
Keisai Horikoshi, the actual creator of My Hero Academia, knows about the fan fiction, reads fan fiction, and he has often said to people, if you look at the main art posters that I make, I give hints into what kind of pairings I like. And it was figured out, yeah, it's true, Jer, it's true. It was figured out that the hints that he gives is the characters that are looking at each other or looking at other characters are looking at the people they like, right?
Yeah.
In almost every poster he's done, Todoroki has been staring at Midoriya. Ochako is staring at Midoriya. Sometimes she stares at Bakugo. It's between the two she's looking at, right?
Yeah.
So the triangle.
Yeah, right.
Damn.
Ida will be looking at Momo. Momo will be looking at Todoroki. Mina is always looking at Kirishima. Kirishima is right. Kirishima is always looking at Bakugo. Right? So these are the hints that has been basically dropped, that these are the pairings that he actually likes himself.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the big thing though about this is Bakugo and Midoriya are never looking at anyone. They're looking straight ahead. And I think that's basically him saying, yes, there is obvious ones that like obvious characters, but I'm not going to give a conclusion.
Because
And I
anything that
hope
he can
that's
come
the
up
way.
with will disappoint like people.
And
Yeah.
also it'd
Yeah.
be a testament to, all right, Deku and Bakugo are both seeing what's happening in, like, they're looking on. They're not looking around.
Yeah,
They just want to go straight ahead.
yeah,
Which is true to their characters, because both
Yeah.
of them don't want to be messing about. They want to move on.
exactly. They're not looking for a relationship. They're not looking to make a connection that way. They have more important things to be worrying about. Whereas the other ones, they don't know about the actual peril that's going on. And they're just kind of like, well, they're bad guys. We'll fight them, but he's pretty hot.
Yeah. And then, this poor Todoroki, who's just caught in everything. God love him. Like, oh my God.
He
Like,
is
he
literally like the straight
literally
person that
is.
has no clue. It's like, what are you doing? Where?
No,
Oh
and
my
then,
God.
What's
He's
going on?
John Travolta. He's like,
yeah.
he is the John Travolta from My Hero Academia.
And then it's like, oh yeah, Todoroki, we need you to do this. He's like, cool. Let's
Okay.
go.
I guess I'm doing this now. He's so awkward though, because he's like so popular, he's so handsome, he's so adored by people, and he's so oblivious to it.
Yeah.
He's so oblivious to it.
He's like, I will prove my strength. And it's like, yeah, but we already know you're strong. Yeah, but I will prove it again. That's
Yeah,
basically what he
right.
does. And
Right.
he's like, oh, you poor baby. Oh,
Like, even at that, his whole want of approval as well, because he was never good enough for his dad, and he's coming into this wanting to be good enough for him to say, well, I don't need to use your power. And then he had all of that completely destroyed by Midoriya going, it's your power. And he's
Yeah.
like,
Epiphany.
mind blown.
yeah, like that's basically what happened.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I have a newfound thing. Where was this?
And it's after that, it's literally after that he's kind of like, I like you. You're my best friend now. I'm going to watch you. Are you All Might's love child?
Yeah, and that, oh my God, that.
Maybe.
Right?
Remember the hospital scene where they're all in the room together, and he's like,
I break hands. He's so literal, and that's what I love about him. Is he literally looks at
Deku
things
and
and he's
Áine
like,
are both like, dude.
I'm a handbreaker. No, you're a heartbreaker, dear. You're a heartbreaker. Like, literally, he's the type of character, if you turned around to him and says, oh my, you're such a heartbreaker, he'd be like, I cause people cardiac arrest. I'm so sorry. How am I doing that? Is it something about the barometric pressure in my like ice and flame.
What did
working
I
at the same time.
do?
I am so sorry. I have a defibrillator in my bag. I can help. He is one of those characters who will take it so literally. But again, it brings back the relatability to these characters because there are so many people out there like that are looking at him going, oh my God, I do that too. So it's nice that there is that relatability. And,
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going to talk about super overpowered characters that end up being kind of like afterwards, you have to mention Denki, because he is Kaminari Denki is an overpowered character. He has the ability of Thor himself, but when he uses the abilities of Meow Meow, he becomes a complete and utter derp. So yeah, and it's really nice
Basically
because
what
they
happened.
explain that the electricity short circuits his brain and he needs
He's
to
Pikachu.
reboot.
He was Pikachu. That's what
Yeah, he's great. He's another great example of enormous power with a bad side effect.
Yeah.
And again, it's another great example of teamwork because they learned how to use his ability. It's a area of effectability. Anyone within the area of his discharge is going to get shocked, and it's not going to be pleasant. So his teammates, usually with the help
Pokemon fun here.
Yeah.
his teammates, usually with the help of Momo, make a anti-electric blanket, to a rubber blanket basically, to hide them from the shock. It's again, Momo's a great tactician as well. She's able to come up with strategies on the go, literally on the fly.
She's very
She's brilliant.
intelligent.
And her ability is technically useless if you aren't intelligent, because for her to be able to use her abilities, she needs to know the chemical formula of what she's creating. So her super suit is literally got a skirt of books that have chemical formulas of objects so she can create them.
Equivalent exchange.
And it is, because the only way she can make stuff is by eating a lot of stuff to replace all those chemicals and stuff.
That is it. Literally it.
Yeah, I see where you went there, Jer.
I'm sorry, it
Bolt.
just remember the campfire scene.
Oh yeah. There's so much in this show, though. There's so much. I could talk about it all day. I could literally talk about it all day.
Well, like, we're gonna wind it down. So basically, like, to finish it off, in a very brief summary, if you're pitching it to someone, what would be the best way you would describe it?
We'll go with Jer first. Go on.
I would say great show about overcoming your limits, great characters, great story. Watch it.
Fair enough, Áine.
I would say similar. Is that if you want to see a show where each character is, as you said, is trying to overcome a limit, but knows their limits or listens and learns their limits, and then overcomes, bad guys and stuff, and tragedy and darkness and stuff. Watch this.
Okay. What about yourself, Lorraine?
Hey kids, feeling socially awkward? Feel like you don't really fit in? Want to watch something where everyone feels that way, but actually gets to be the heroes? Try My Hero Academia, where an awkwardly social kid is thrown into the midst of a hero academy and becomes the number one.
Fair enough. That's actually a better way to do it. So, Now, I'm not going to say it because I haven't watched it. So, but
Watch it. That's your homework.
Cheater, pumpkin eater.
hey, that's going to be a recurring theme with some of these. Sorry. But
Anime shows I didn't watch.
pretty much.
Not watched by Fox.
Well, yeah.
I watched most of it.
That's why it's not fair for me to talk about it, because I can't do it justice. So that's why I leave the rest of you to do it.
Okay, so I'll put it back to you in this way. After hearing everything that we've said about it, do you want to watch it?
Do you?
Have eyes
The
on me.
answer is yes. Yes, I do.
Yes.
Very good.
But, well, I
You
won't hear the
see,
end
you
of
can
that.
be in on the in jokes with us. It'd be great.
But for those watching, we hope that you've enjoyed it. This has been our second episode. Now you can find us on the Nerds of Us channel on YouTube. You can also go follow Nerds of Us on Twitter at Nerds of Us 3. You can go follow Lorraine on her social media, Crafty Like a Fox. That's almost across the board, I should say. Is
Except
it?
for on Instagram where I'm Genesis Go Boom.
Well, as you've seen throughout the course of this episode, you've seen some of the figurines that she has in store. Go check it out. Buy the stuff. Help us, because we're broke and we need your money.
COVID-19 has hit us hard, fam. So
Well,
hard.
But I would like to say a big thank you to Jer for coming on, because I know he really wanted to do this
Hell yeah.
with his little panda suit. So
Panda onesie.
Yeah, we need
Oh,
to
panda
see
onesie,
the panda
sorry,
suit
panda
properly.
onesie.
Show us.
Yep.
Show us the full might of your panda suit. I need to see it. Come on.
I won't, but
Oh, come on. Huddle.
but Fox, we're friends on Facebook, aren't we?
yes, we are.
There's a good profile picture I have on myself in a onesie and a few other panda related things.
I shall send it to her.
Send it to
But
Lorraine.
that doesn't help the viewers who are watching now.
Well,
Well,
then go onto his page.
well, unfortunately, this is borderline turned into a fan fiction all of a sudden. So yeah,
No.
Yes,
Put
it is.
it up. Put it.
Well,
And this is what we were talking about as a complete and utter train wreck.
yeah. But in the meantime, we hope to see you again. This has been Anime Deep Dive, or in Japan.
Anime shows I didn't watch. What?
Damn you.
Oh, by the way, my name's Áine.
Yeah, we
you
always
give me a
forget
second?
about the girls, don't we? Oh, you put it up! Yay! You got it up! I'm so proud of you!
Only because I felt bad because no forgot Áine.
Aww,
I didn't
Oh,
forget
yeah.
her with the stuff.
You
Áine,
did
he got it
so.
up for
were
you.
so
Are you
kind
happy?
to the people.
本当に可愛いですよね。
What?
Exactly.
ね。
I understood everything she said there.
And on that note, we will see you in the next one. Have a good day.
だね。
Bye bye.